What are some things that you could change in your drawing today that will just improve your art quality immensely? There are so many common mistakes that people make in their painting, and I'm just going to call out 3 of them today. And if you do them, maybe you can check yourself the next time you notice yourself doing them, or maybe just like when you're painting, kind of think back, like, did you do this before? A bird just hit the window. If you have not already noticed, this is slightly different, and that is because I am using my new Sony ZV-1 camera to kind of like get a practice shot in before I take this hiking. Because if you're not fully aware of what's going on in Canada, the whole country is on fire. So Western Canada is on fire, Eastern Canada is on fire, pretty much just smoke everywhere. And I think right now, if I look into the sky, I can kind of see a little bit of blue, but for the most part, it has been super smoky, super unhealthy to breathe in, and just not overall very pleasant to hike in because it's like a greenhouse and it's just very muggy and gross. So I hope you don't mind that it's going to be just a little bit longer until I get that hiking video out here with the plein air paintings. However, until then, I am here to deliver some very important pieces of advice. All right, so the first thing that I'm going to advise you to stop doing to improve your art immensely and very quickly is to catch the things that you found yourself doing as shortcuts when you were younger and evolve, move past that. For example, zippers. We all know how zippers look, we all know how belt buckles look, etc. But we kind of like develop a simplistic way of drawing that because it simply makes it easier for us. And this is all fine and dandy if we're doing cartoonish drawings, if we're doing comics. But if you really want to up that level of your drawing and kind of just raise the bar that much more, think about those things. Think about the way that you're doing belt buckles and belts. Instead of drawing it like this, up that level of detail, make it evolve, and draw it more like this. Second thing kind of plays into the first thing. Belts are probably the most obvious culprit. Shoelaces and shoes, I mean, those are another thing that we tend to kind of like simplify because when we were learning how to draw, we learned how to simplify it. And we just figured out that that's the answer for that. Let's not spend any more time mastering that because it's pretty tedious. Just because it's tedious doesn't mean that it won't up your game. So I highly encourage you to, instead of drawing shoelaces like this, actually draw the shoelaces. Think about how the string twists and turns. Think about how gravity pulls at it. And I mean, if you want to just push it that much further, think about how you're actually drawing the shoes. Grab a reference for shoes because shoes, I mean, even I'm guilty of this. I am incredibly guilty of this even. I always need to grab references for shoes because if I just draw it out of my head, it's gonna look like trash. Third tip, again, it's going back to that thing where we learned how to do something when we were younger and we never learned how to do it better. And that is lips. Instead of lip lining your lips and making them look like this, consider only drawing a solid line for the actual opening of the mouth, and at the outline of the lips, instead of drawing a hard edge, shade it. Make it a soft, kind of like gradient form. And remember that lips are voluminous, so they have shadow areas and they have highlight areas. Render those lips and it will make your faces look a lot less flat and just a lot more soft and inviting. And those are my 3 tips for how to improve your drawing very quickly, because I know a lot of people probably still do those things. Even if you're like an advanced artist, a lot of people still will take these shortcuts because we don't think about it. We figured out an answer when we were younger and we never really stepped up when it came to these things. Keep in mind that this isn't just belts. It isn't just shoes. It isn't just lips. There are always those little things that we get into the habit of doing that we think are good enough. And if you just stop and analytically look at it in your drawing and you ask yourself, is this actually good enough? Or is this just what I'm comfortable with? It will improve your art immensely. And that is how you can improve your art the quickest. It's not that you're not capable of doing better. It's just that you haven't tried to do better because you think that it's good enough. So if there's anything else in your art that you notice you do this with, think about it and maybe push yourself just a little bit further with those things. I hope that helps, and thank you guys so much for watching. I will catch you next week. Nagamis!